testing season is almost upon us, and for music teachers this is kind of a weird time because we're not, you know, like testing kids in our subject typically, but it does change like the whole school schedule and it makes things super funky. I don't know how they do testing at your school, but at my school typically what happens is the whole school shuts down the whole morning, and I'm usually in one of the 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade classes helping out, proctoring the test, making sure, you know, everybody is good and everyone is doing what they're supposed to. And then after that I get like a short lunch if testing, you know, ends on time, and then I run around to all the classrooms for about 20 minutes to basically just relieve the teachers long enough for them to run to the restroom and maybe shove a granola bar down their throat. And we repeat that for days and days and days. Now, whether that's how you do your testing or not, testing season comes with a lot of different things to think about as far as music lessons go, because again, I'm typically in the classrooms at this time. We have a shortened class period. I then have, you know, sometimes we have to be really quiet when we're doing our music lessons, which is always so great. So great. We love quiet music lessons. And then on top of all of this, you have kids that are out of their normal routine, which means that they can be all over the map. Some kids get out of testing and they are like bonkers, like all the energy is stored up and they're like bouncing off the walls. Other kids get out of testing and are so exhausted that they just like fall asleep for the rest of the day. And there's literally everything in between, which means that taking music lessons can be really difficult, and trying to decide what you're going to do during the testing season can be very, very difficult. So in this video, we're going to talk through some of my favorite testing lessons, and we're going to kind of talk about different things. So a couple of different aspects that you might want to think about when it comes to testing. Number one, we'll talk about some things that are better in the teacher's classrooms than in your classroom. Number two, we'll talk about things that can be done quietly. Number three, we're going to talk about things that can be done where the kids can get some of their energy out, whether that's physically like moving, or whether that is like, you know, them just like working together or talking or like letting them do that kind of stuff. And then we'll also talk about some things that are good for the kids that are just like done with everything. I'm going to split this into lower grades and upper grades, although some things will work across many different things. And this is definitely not everything you could possibly do, but it is a good head start. Before we do get in, I do want to mention that if you are like, especially if you have a schedule like mine where it's like you're testing all morning and then you have like little tiny bits of class all afternoon, the main thing I want to tell you is don't stress. Don't stress. Testing season is not that long, and honestly, like if they don't learn anything in music during testing season, because it's like a week or two. And so really think about it as like I'm just here to, you know, provide a little bit of fun for the kids, and think of it that way instead of like we're going to learn these really important concepts. And don't stress about it above everything else. Just don't stress about it, because it's just not going to be what you would like it to be. And so if you go in thinking like we're just gonna have some fun, it's gonna be great, then you'll be in a much better position. So with that being said, I'm just gonna like bump through all of these. They're not in any particular order, although I am gonna do older kids and then we'll talk about younger kids after that. So starting with older kids, the first one is one of my all-time favorite games, and that is the game Kaboom. So Kaboom is a really great game because you can use it with literally any concept. So you can do it with rhythm, you can do it with melody, you can do it with treble clef, you can do it with instruments, the orchestra, you can do it with anything. And the kids love Kaboom. Kaboom is a really fun game. So basically you just need a whole bunch of cards. I used to draw them out on popsicle sticks until I realized it was so much easier to print them out on the computer. And so now I have all of my printed out ones on the computer that you can buy on TPT if you don't want to do it yourself, because it's a lot faster. But you can totally use popsicle sticks or make them yourself. But basically they're just little cards that have different things on them. So I like to do rhythm. That's probably my favorite one to do. And so you'll have different rhythm patterns on them. Some of your cards will say Kaboom. And so the kids get in a circle and they take turns drawing a card out, reading their card. If they get it right, they get to keep it. If not, they put it back. If they get one that says Kaboom, then they put all of their cards back. So you can do that with rhythm, you can do it with melody, you can do it with music terms, like you can do it with literally any concept that you possibly need to do, which makes it very versatile. It's also really fun and your kids love it. Like my 5th graders were asking for it the other day. They love it. So this is a really good crowd pleaser. Another thing that's great is that during testing, one, it's not super loud because they're, you know, in groups as long as you can keep them them quiet. 2, you can do it in the classrooms. And 3, it helps to get some of that energy out. It's not like a super active thing, but because they're in a group, they're talking to each other. They don't have to like sit and concentrate and listen really, really well. And so it does help with that, and they love being in groups, so that helps too. So plus, I will link some Kabooms down below, and you can totally make them yourself if you want to. Number 2, this is also one of my like go-tos, and this is bingo. I love music bingo. I have quite a few that I have gotten over the years from West Music. I think some of them are also available on Amazon. I'll link some down below, but my favorites are the rhythm bingo. So I think I have 2 sets of rhythm bingo. I also have like an instruments, the orchestra bingo, and a couple other ones. I don't even know what they are, but they're really fun. 1, 2, they're really easy. 3, you can do them in the teacher's classrooms. You can do them quietly. And it's like one of those things where it's not like super intense. So if you have those kids who are more exhausted, like that's kind of a nice thing because it's not like high concentration, and it's, you know, it's just fun. Also, if you're doing like rhythm bingo, they have to still identify the rhythms, which means that they're still doing, you know, music stuff. They're still reading music. They're just doing it in maybe a little bit of a different way. Number 3 is a little more open-ended, but that is group composition. This is great, especially if you don't have to worry about being quiet. It can be done quietly, but you know, there's that. And so group composition, you can do in many, many different ways. You can have kids just take like rhythm cards and arrange rhythm cards in different patterns and play them on instruments, or just, you know, say the patterns. You can have them do it with like little cards, like, you know, individual rhythms. I have recently been doing it with my spring rhythm manipulatives that are in my TBT shop because they're just, you know, fun and springy. And so I have the kids get the little cards and laminate them. They don't laminate them, I laminate them, then I give it to them, and they arrange them in different patterns on a like worksheet that helps them to keep track. So I have like different measures, so I have like 3, 4, and 4, 4, and then I also have some that are just boxes, so if your kids aren't doing time signatures, they can do that. But it's just like a really easy way to get the kids reading and composing music, and it's fun. You could even have them do like a final piece and have them perform it, but I don't know that I would want to do all of that if I only have, you know, 20 minutes. But it is a really fun thing that you can do, and you could also have them write their composition down after they finish so that you have like a written piece as well. I like to do this in groups because then the kids are a little bit less scared of doing it on their own. Sometimes composition can be intimidating on your own, and also they just like being in groups. So anytime I can put them in groups, I'm like, good, go in a group, do your thing and have fun and get the wiggles out, especially for 5th grade. I'm like, just you go. All right, next up, especially if you don't have to be quiet, is move-alongs or play-alongs. YouTube is full of like rhythm play-alongs and body percussion play-alongs, and they're so much fun and they're so easy. All you have to do is slap them up on the screen. That means if you're in the teacher's classrooms, you can just go to their board and go to YouTube and throw it up there. If you're in your classroom, you can throw it up on the board and do it there. You can find like literally anything. I just go to YouTube and I type in like body percussion play-along or rhythm play along for quarter notes or whatever it is I'm looking for, and there's like a bajillion things that pop up, and it's great. Rhythm play alongs are super fun because you can do them on body percussion first, and then you can add instruments if you have instruments that you can take to the classrooms, or you know, if they're quiet enough, you can use egg shakers. Those are pretty quiet, and just like you can do pretty much anything, and then that gives you like extra time. So usually we do it once where I'm like just sight reading, and then we'll go through and we'll play each pattern. Then I'll give them instruments and we'll play each pattern, and then they'll use the instruments and play like straight through the whole video. And so that's a good 20 minutes right there, or pretty dang close if it's not a full 20 minutes. So that will do pretty well for you. And again, there's a million things. Also, there's a lot of Encanto themed ones right now. Copyright wise, I don't know how I feel about that, but in reality, like we did one today and it was so much fun and the kids loved it. So there is that. All right, the next one is listen and draw. This is one of my favorite things to do in the kids' classrooms because they have desks and I do not. We sit in the carpet in music. We do it in music sometimes, but in their classrooms, this is a great one. Just have the kids listen to a song and draw whatever it makes them think of. To do this the best, I usually have them listen 1 or 2 times, just like listen once intently, and then the second time I'll say like, okay, I want you to think this time of what it reminds you of, and then I'll play it again. And or you know, I might play half, so it's not the whole thing. If it's a longer piece, it depends on what I pick. And then I will call on some people to share what it made them think of, because there's always gonna be some kids that are like, I can't think of anything, and so that way they have other options. They can be like, oh yeah, I heard that and that and that, and they can, you know, share those things. And then give them all a piece of paper and let them draw it, and you can play it a couple more times. It's usually a pretty quiet activity, especially because they're listening and they're drawing and they can get really into it. If you need to make it longer, you could also have them like write a story based on their picture or whatever you want to do. But it's a really good one, and it's easy, and you can use literally any piece of music like ever. I typically go with classical music, but you can, I mean, I've done it with jazz music. I've done it with any sort of classical music. Carnival of the Animals is a great one because those pieces are like really distinct. I love Aquarium for this. There's lots of different things. When I do this, I use these portable speakers. I have two of them, one at home and one at school. So this is my home one because it matches my office. And then I have a blue one at school. They're great. They are rechargeable. I used one for months and months and months when we were in the classrooms doing hybrid teaching, and literally never charged it. So their charge lasts forever. And they're great. They're great, and I love them, and I highly recommend them. Again, I have two of them, so they're awesome. They're really loud. I was concerned that buying a Bluetooth speaker off Amazon, it wasn't gonna be loud enough, and so this one I got specifically because it has a speaker all the way around. So I figured, you know, if worse comes worse, I can put it in the middle of the classroom and then everyone can hear it that way. But it is very loud, so we don't have any problems with that at all. And I think it also said it was waterproof, although I've never tested that, so I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, that's a good one. I will link that down below in case you're looking for it. It comes in lots of different colors. My husband also has one in black, so there is that. All right, next up, there are singing games that you can do in the classroom. So 3 of my favorite like classroom singing games. Number 1 is gonna be Closet Key. Closet Key is great for upper kids. They love this one. I've actually done this in their classroom one time because I don't even remember why I had to go in their classroom, but whatever. But Closet Key goes, I have lost the closet key in my lady's garden. I have lost the closet key in my lady's garden. It's very simple, and the way you play this game is somebody takes like a thing and they hide it. It's supposed to be a key, but I usually use a ruler, and they hide it somewhere in the room. While they're doing that, the finder closes their eyes. At the end, once it's hidden, then the finder comes out and walks around the room to try to find it, and the class helps them by singing the song. They sing the song loud if they are close and quiet if they are far away. So you practice dynamics, and you also practice singing, and also it's a really fun game, and the kids love it. This has been a really big hit with my 5th graders this year. And one thing I will say that has helped is throwing up a timer on YouTube. So I usually put like a 2-minute timer, and if they don't find it in 2 minutes, then they just lost their round. And I also make them leave an inch of my ruler sticking out. That way it doesn't take forever, because if you let them hide it all the way, they'll never find it. So that one is a really big hit. Another one that's really fun, this one, it may not be the best for COVID, but it's fun, so I'm gonna share it anyway. And that is Ickle Ockle. I had a really hard time finding the like notation of this song, so I'll look again. But the song goes, Qua qua de la oma, qua qua qua. Down see my trinkle, 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 la. Follow, 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 follow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is an Israeli clapping song, I believe, and I might have said all of the words wrong. I have no idea. But the kids sit in a circle and they put their hands out, and you pass the beat by taking your right hand. I guess you could do whichever one you want, but we usually do your right hand tapping. The person has their hand heel, and you go across and tap that person's hand, and then they tap and tap and tap, and it goes across the circle. And then when you get to the end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoever lands on 5, that person is out. So this one is really fun and really simple, and really great for in their classrooms, as long as they have like a carpet or like some space in their room. Most of them will have a carpet in their room, some of them will not. So if they do, that's great. If not, that's okay. And the last one that we actually did today that the kids have been loving is Love Somebody. And this song goes, love somebody, yes I do. Love somebody, yes I do. Love somebody, yes I do. Love somebody and a baby who. They have loved this song. I was a little worried. I used it with 4th grade and I was a little worried that they were gonna be like, oh, love somebody, but they love this song. Like they're obsessed. And to play this game, there's actually, how you're supposed to play the game is somebody's supposed to think of someone else in the class and then the kids are supposed to guess who that person is. And I was like, there's no way that that is gonna be an honest thing, so we're gonna not do that. So what I do is I have one kid go up to the front and they sit in the chair, like facing the wall, eyes closed. While we sing the song, I have all the kids have their hands out and I put like an eraser or whatever I can find that's small in their hands. And then everybody closes their hands, whether you have it or not. And then the person in the front gets 3 guesses to see if they can guess who has it. So it's really fun with the older kids because they can like be sneaky about it and like make suspicious faces, and it is just like hilarious, and they loved it. And it's really quiet, which is really, really nice too, because sometimes you just need some quiet. And so that's been a really big hit. I usually do, if they guess right, then they get to pick who gets it next, so they get to put it in someone's hands. If they guess wrong, then I put it in somebody's hands. But again, super quiet. They have been loving it. I did it with 5th grade also today, and they loved it. And so we've been rocking and rolling with Love Somebody. I also have a lesson pack for that one, so I will link that down below. All right, next one is one of my go-tos, and this is Extra Beat, Take a Seat. This is like my favorite in their classroom activity because it's so easy. But what you do is you take a short rhythm and you play it a certain amount of times. And if they make an extra beat, so they make an extra sound, then they would be out. So we always start with down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. We always do it 3 times and then if they make an extra sound, they sit down, and we keep going until whoever is left remaining gets it right. And then once those people get it right, then everyone comes back in and we go to 5. And then again, if you make a sound, then you sit down. So we keep going and keep going and keep going. And then we pick a harder rhythm, then we pick a harder rhythm, and so on and so forth. This one is really easy and really fun. The kids love it. We use it quite a bit. And it's one of my go-tos for those days where like you need something fun, but you need something easy. And you can also add rhythm sticks to it. You could probably do drums too, but I usually use rhythm sticks, which is an added advantage of having it in their classrooms, is it's a little bit extra, like, you know, we still get to play instruments kind of thing. And then if they are out, I have them like push the rhythm sticks into the middle. So that one's always a huge hit. I will link, I have like a freebie, like slides or PDF or something to show on the screen that you can use in your classroom. So I will leave that down below. All right, the next one is specifically for people who need quiet or people who have those kids that are just like, I'm done, I have nothing left to give. And that is color by note or word search. There is nothing wrong with giving the kids coloring sheets during testing. Like, you are free to do that. But I like to try to make it a little more music-y by doing color by notes. So color by notes are basically just where you have like a key that says whatever you're gonna do. So if you're doing a rhythm one, then it's like quarter note, red. And then every time there's a quarter note, they color it red. There's also, I do lots of different ones. So we do rhythm ones. We also do solfege ones where it'll have a solfege pattern. So it'll say like, me, so, me, pink. And everywhere that it says me, so, me, they color that one pink. We also do treble clef ones, and so all of those are things that you can do. I have some in my TBT shop. I don't have a ton, but I have some, and I'm working on some more. So I will link what I have down below, and then you can also, again, just go to TBT and Google color by note, and you'll find plenty of things. I don't know what they will be because I usually make my own, but you will find some stuff. So you can use those. Those are great. You can use regular coloring sheets. You can use, you know, word searches. I like to have, if I'm doing a color by note, then it's like a specific thing. If I'm doing like just a coloring sheet, I usually have a coloring sheet and a word search, so they get to pick because they do like to have a choice. All right, next up is one that might be really exciting if you don't have technology in your room, and that is Chrome Music Lab. I love Chrome Music Lab. I'm still kind of like tapping into its potential, but I am loving it so far. And so when you go into the classrooms, they typically have a lot more technology access than you do. And so you can use Chrome Music Lab there. If you're not familiar, Chrome Music Lab is a free Google extension like website that you can go and try like all these different things. So they have lots of different apps, lots of different things that the kids can try. They love it. So you could literally just set them on and be like, go for it. And they will have a ball. I've done that before. full disclosure. You can also use it like in more specific ways. So they have like a chord builder, so that one's good. You can use there's a melody maker. The one that I like is the song maker, and specifically how I've been using that is by having the kids either notate the songs we've been learning or doing Chrome Music Lab task cards. So the Chrome, when you do it, I'll kind of try to explain it. There's like little boxes, and when you click on the box, then it will light up a color and it will also make a sound. They are color coordinated to match the boom whackers, which I don't know who did that, but whoever it was, I love you. Thank you so much. And so I have these little Chrome Music Lab task cards where I went and did a whole bunch of them in different patterns. So I have like So Me and I have So Me La, and I screenshotted them. And so the kids make the pattern that I have and then play it. And then they can also play it on the boom whackers if you want. They can sing it, or they could just play it and then they can make another one. And then after they've done a couple of those, then you can have them make their own with, you know, whatever patterns you're working on. It's great because they're color coordinated. So you can be like, you're using yellow and purple and green. And they're like, okay. And then they know exactly what to do. So that one is always a really big hit. I do have some iPads in my room, so that's how I usually use them. And then you can also use them again in their classrooms with all of their technology. All right, and the last one that I am gonna suggest before we move on to younger kids is it is perfectly fine to show a movie or a video or a TV show when you are in their room, especially during testing. Again, this is weird testing stuff. It is not normal music. You don't need to stress a ton about it. Normal music will resume soon, and so it is okay to do that. And I just wanted to put that out there because I know I always feel super guilty about doing that. I actually did that the other day, the day before spring break. I got to school to find that I had a completely different schedule than I was supposed to. Awesome. I also found out right then that I also found out right, like literally, you know, 5 minutes before school started, that I was not gonna be in my classroom and I was gonna be in the students' classrooms. And again, I didn't know until that morning, and it was a totally different thing. And so I was like, what am I gonna do? And so I did different things with different grade levels, but 2 of my grade levels, we just straight up watched movies. I was like, yes, the day before spring break. One of them was 2nd grade, and I usually have them in the middle of the day, and I had them at the very end of the day. And so they were like bonkers, and I was like, I'm just not, like, no. And so we just watched movies. And you know, the world did not end. They weren't even music movies. The world still didn't end. I don't usually do that. But again, I felt like I was like a horrible person for doing this, even though I know I'm not. So I just want to give you permission that during testing, that is perfectly fine. I wouldn't suggest it for, you know, your regular lesson plan, but during testing, it's okay. All right, now moving on to lower grades. So lower grades at my school, at least for standardized testing, are not testing. We do testing from 3rd and up, but they are affected by the schedule, and they will be confused by the schedule because they'll be like, but we didn't have the test. And I'm like, yeah, but I had to test, you know? And so it's like a weird thing because their schedule is all thrown off, and like the building's locked down. They can't, it's like, it's all weird. So they still need, you know, different things, especially if you're in their classroom, especially if you need quiet and all of that. So here's a couple of ideas. Some of the ones we already mentioned will totally work, but here's a couple of additional ideas for the younger kids. A couple of things. So number 1 would be songs where students can pick the movement. So what I mean by that is songs like Did You Ever See a Lassie is a great one. It goes, did you ever see a lassie, a lassie, a lassie? Did you ever see a lassie move this way and then move this way and that way and this way and that way? Did you ever see a lassie move this way and that? So for this one, I have for the beginning part, we usually sway back and forth, and then when it goes this way and that way and this way and that way, somebody gets to pick the movements that we're gonna do. I like to do it in a circle and have them come to the middle. Sometimes that's not feasible based on their classroom, you know, layout. So I'll have them come to the front, and then we all follow whatever it is they do, and I try to get them to do something really tricky. Another good one is Mama Llama. This is a really cute one. I love for like 2nd grade, 3rd grade is like my magic place for it. And so for this one, we stand in a circle again, and for the first half we do tap down, tap out. And so you tap, like high five the person next to you. Again, we've done it like this year with COVID, we just did down, up, and that was fine too. So this one goes Mama llama, kuma la pizza. Mama llama, kuma la pizza. Oh no, 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 la pizza. Oh no, 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 la pizza. And then at this point, whoever is the person leading gets to pick whatever action that we do. And so we just follow whatever they do. And the next part is Annie, Manny, Dix a penny, Oompa, a Loompa, Lanny, Okeechobee, Ava, Watchy, XYZ. And then we go back. I love when it has two different sections because during the Mama Llama, I will pick someone to go to the middle, and that way the song doesn't stop. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. So that is super fun. For the littles, like kindergarten, first grade, one of my favorites is A Monkey in a Chair, which is from the game plan curriculum. If you're going to do a curriculum, this is the one that I would go with because it is really fun. But this song goes, oh my goodness, I declare, there's a monkey in a chair. Copy him because it's true. Monkey see and monkey do. So for this one, somebody goes to the chair in the front and they get to keep, we usually do the steady beat. So they get to pick where we keep the steady beat and they can change it if they want. So we can do whatever, and it's really, really fun. The kids love it, and it's really simple, and it's a great time. And any of these where the kids are like picking the actions you're doing means that they will take forever, which is glorious. So there's that. The second one I wanted to share is a movement activity that goes with Ickle Ockle. So Ickle Ockle is a really cute folk song that goes to do, and I usually use this with like second and third grade again. And this one goes, well, there's lots of different versions of it, but the version that I learned, the version that we do is Ickle Ockle, blue bottle fishes in the sea. If you want a partner, just choose me. So for Ickle Ockle, we usually will learn the song and then we will move around like different animals. So I'll have them tell me a different ocean animal and they'll be like, shark. I'm like, great, this time can you be a shark? And move around the room like a shark while we sing. And then at the end they always freeze and then they'll be like, oh, jellyfish. I'm like, great. And so then we'll, you know, Ickle Ockle, blue bottle. And they just think it's hilarious. And again, it will take a long time because lots of different people are choosing. And then you can pair that with lots of other like ocean themed things. So I have some like, actually I have a whole Ickle Ockle lesson pack, so I'll link that down below. But I have some like little fish flashcards in there, so I like to throw those on the floor and have the kids like walk while we sing and then stop and read whatever flashcard they get to. Or you can have them make up their own like ocean animal rhythm manipulatives. I have those in my TPT shop too. That would be great with Ickle Ockle. Or you can do, you know, other ocean themed songs, or you can do Carnival of the Animals Aquarium. Like there's so many ocean themed things you can do. You can go crazy. But the movement was what I wanted to tell you about for Ickle Ockle. So that's a really fun one. The next one is probably my go-to when it comes to the younger kids for testing lessons or anytime I go in their classroom, and that is book, song, possibly color. So I will pick, you know, whatever song we're working on, find a book that is similar to whatever song we're working on, and we will sing the song, we will read the story, and then they will draw a picture. And then we move on with our lives. And it's great because it's simple, it's easy. They're still getting music, they're getting some literature, they're, you know, extending their resources into other mediums by doing art, and they have a great time. So for example, if I was going to do Ickle Ockle, then I might read Pout Pout Fish, or I might read Rainbow Fish, and then we can draw pictures of the Pout Pout Fish or the Rainbow Fish or whatever it is that we want to do along with that. So that is probably my like number one what we usually do with the littles when it comes to being in their classroom. I already put play-alongs and color by note on here. I use color by notes a lot with the younger kids, and specifically with the like second graders, they love color by note. And we do that a lot for solfege patterns for second grade, and they just think it's the best thing ever. I love that they are practicing reading, and also that it keeps them quiet and entertained, because second grade usually is the hardest grade for me. This year they've been okay, but in years past they've been a struggle. So I like that. It's, you know, keeps them entertained for a long time, and they're still, you know, again, doing music. But last one I wanted to share that is specific is the folk song Doggy Doggy. So this is another good one for if you need to be quiet, a great one for in the classrooms. I think all of these actually, yes, all of the things I mentioned for the little kids are great for in the classrooms or for if you need to be quiet. So thumbs up on that one. But Doggy Doggy is a song that goes, Doggy, doggy, where's your bone? Someone stole it from my home. Who stole your bone? I stole your bone. So typically everyone sings, doggy, doggy, where's your bone? One person sings, whoever the doggy is, someone stole it from my home. And then everyone sings, who stole your bone? And while you're singing, I walk around and put a bone, usually it's like a pencil, into a kid's hand. And whoever is holding it then gets to sing the last part by themselves and sing, I stole your bone. And then the person who is the doggy gets to, oh, my doggy must have heard me talking about doggies because she has come to say hello. Say hello. Okay. And so the doggy then has to guess who said that. So you can do it, and usually we'll do it normally a couple times, and then I tell them that they can use funny voices to see if they can trick the doggy into thinking it's somebody else. And usually I give them 3 guesses to do this. So this is really fun and really simple. It's another one that will keep them entertained. It's pretty quiet. It's easy to do in their classrooms. Like, it is, you know, like a hit and really fun, and it goes to law, which is also really helpful. So those are the main testing lessons I wanted to share. I had a couple more, but I was like, you know, at some point you just gotta cut it off. And so we're gonna cut that off right here. I would love to know what your favorite testing lessons are. Leave them down below, even if they're, you know, put on a movie. What movies do you watch? I would love to know, because I'm always looking for more, especially because they took my favorite episode of Arthur off of YouTube. So there's that unfortunateness, but you know, it's okay. Thank you guys so much for watching, and check the comments for what other people have said and share your favorite testing lessons, and I will see you next time. Bye.